All right, good Thursday morning, everyone. 48 First Alert Meteorologist Eric Burke. Appreciate you joining us at 10:30 for Weather Extra. It was a very foggy start here this morning, and we did anticipate some dense fog. It was widespread. It was just about everywhere. If you had to leave the house this morning, probably had to deal with that firsthand. Well, our visibility has improved drastically. We are still hanging on to some stubborn clouds, and those will even start to thin out here as we go through the remainder of your morning and into the afternoon. And once we start seeing some of that sunshine, our temperatures are going to shoot up quickly. Highs today should be in the upper 70s to low 80s, and you can just feel that humidity, kind of feeling more late spring, summer-like, and all that moisture is going to be put to use. It's going to be the fuel for our rain showers and potentially strong to severe storms that we're looking at as we go through this afternoon and evening. So we're going to talk about your storm threat for today, talk about your Friday, and of course that all-important Mother's Day weekend. So let's get right to it. We do have a lot to talk about. So here's a look in East Limestone. If you joined us for our morning newscast, was showing this camera, and it was very foggy there in Limestone County. Coleman County probably had the most dense and widespread fog, and you don't like to see that because I-65 goes right there through Coleman County, and it's not good for the morning commute. It's not good for your stress level either, especially if you're going on a longer road trip down to Birmingham or something to go to a doctor's appointment, catch a flight or something like that. Out there in Marshall County, some peaks of blue sky. You could see that actually right below the banner that says Gunnersville on our Fly HSV camera. So some sunshine already creeping through, and temperatures are going to start to warm up quickly here. Probably the warmest today we'll see for the entire work and school week. I told you that Tuesday would be the best day of the week. Well, this would be the warmest day of the week, but probably the most active as well when it comes to our chances for rain showers and storms. And some of these storms, this is very almost indicative of what we see during the summertime months as far as the setup and ingredients we have in play. We've got our peak daytime heating through the afternoon, early evening, and we've got a lot of moisture to work with. Cumulus clouds will start building up, and these will be some towering thunderstorms that we're expecting to develop later today. And the taller they are, you start getting that large hail development, those strong updrafts supporting those hailstones bouncing around in the updraft, and they just continue to get larger and larger until they eventually get too heavy, overcome the updraft, and fall to the surface. Unfortunately, as it falls to the surface, it hits people, it hits your cars, it hits your home, it hits your siding. There is a potential for large hail today. That is one of the concerns. And also with these towering thunderstorms that we're expecting, when those storms collapse, you get that rush of wind, and then you get the straight line wind. And look, for example, what happened with that wake low coming in behind the rainfall yesterday. We had trees down across the area, and those wind gusts were only about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Now, those winds were around for a little bit longer, about a 15-minute period, as they typically are with the wake low. But with trees coming down with those non-severe winds yesterday, that's making me a bit more concerned for the potential tree damage we have for the storms later today. Trees come down because their roots are a little bit looser in that wet, saturated soil, and then eventually they fall on power lines, and we end up without power at portions of the afternoon or evening. Can't forecast when and where we'll see power outages, or if at all. Just saying that is potentially a possibility. So if you can and you're able to, why not charge those devices when you can? Heavy rainfall, that's a given, as well as frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and we've got a lot of things going outside at this time of year. Checking your storm timeline, this is probably going to be about 2-3 o'clock before we see a lot of activity developing, and then progressing from west to east. Any threat of stronger storms probably wrapping up around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight over portions of northeast Alabama, but that window for strongest storms is probably about 4 to 8. I think that's going to be the sweet spot as far as storm development later today. So if you have plans, you're out running errands, or even just heavy rainfall could play a huge role in poor visibility for that evening commute. Hour by hour forecast here, and notice how the model starts to filter out some of those clouds. We'll call it partly, maybe mostly cloudy depending on where you're at. But as soon as we start to see that sunshine, temperatures will shoot up into the upper 70s to low 80s, showing mainly clear skies, just kind of the cumulus field building in. And then we go toward 5 o'clock. Now, one thing I'm seeing on the ingredients as well as some of the model data is that they are kind of favoring things a bit to our north into portions of Middle Tennessee, or even just favoring those areas right along the state line. That will bring the scattered storms starting to develop, that threat for damaging wind gusts, potential for that large hail, heavy rain, frequent lightning. And then actually this model run makes things just a touch more linear in nature. And then look at the temperatures falling quickly behind. You get that rain cooled air effect, and things will feel just a touch less humid, at least for a little bit. Storms continue to move off to the east by 9-10 o'clock. Any threat of strong to severe storms will be wrapping up. Meteorologist Jeff Noyer will be tracking these storms for you. I know Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis, even on vacation, he posted an update on his Facebook page saying, hey, heads up, these look like summertime storms to me with that hail and wind threat. Now, as we go overnight, chance for maybe a lingering shower, rumble of thunder. It will be cooler tomorrow morning. Temperatures on Friday will start off in those mid-50s. So checking a few thermometers right now, the warmest air is over northwest Alabama and in middle Tennessee. You've got 72 in the Shoals, 70 Lawrenceburg, 70 Decatur, 73 in Meridianville, 70 right now in Scottsboro. Just an hour by hour look at things as we go through your afternoon and evening. Topping out around 80 degrees, very humid. Then we start focusing on those storms popping up, moving from west to east through the afternoon and evening hours. Again, some of those storms can be stronger, watching that wind and hail threat. Another very important part of the forecast, that's the weekend. And all week I've been with you on this Weather Extra saying, hey, weekend, it's a tricky forecast. Wish I could just pinpoint exactly when and where it's going to rain. Well, things are still kind of going back and forth on that. Saturday afternoon, evening, now trending a touch wetter, but Sunday looks pretty good until the evening hours. Temperatures for Mother's Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 70 degrees for Saturday, 74 on Sunday. So all in all, not an awful weekend. Is it going to be perfect and beautiful the whole time? Not exactly. We'll have some rain to deal with. I'm actually working Saturday evening newscast, so I'll be tracking that rain and potentially a few storms for you too. Going forward to Friday now, this is what we've got. Temperatures will be a touch cooler tomorrow because of the direction of the wind. It'll be a little less humid too, but mostly cloudy, if not even overcast through a good portion of the day. Now, most of Friday looks dry. I think we've got a chance of just seeing that isolated stray shower or storm popping up into Friday afternoon and evening. A lot more cloud cover starts to build in by Saturday, and if you look at the bottom of that graphic there on the right side of your phone, that's that center of low pressure that we're tracking coming out of the Gulf. And this model is thinking that path is going to be a little farther north, and watch what happens here as we go into now Saturday afternoon. This is noon, which is earlier than it was this morning, and then kind of continuing to swing out those bands of showers and storms. It won't be a tropical system, but almost has that similar effect when you get those outer bands coming in. I'm really not anticipating any threat of stronger storms on Saturday, but it does look like we could see quite a bit of rainfall, and unfortunately this pattern is probably going to stick around not just through Sunday evening, Mother's Day, but also into Monday and Tuesday of next week. So now we go into Mother's Day morning. Maybe you're taking mom or grandma to church. Temps will be in the mid to upper 50s. And then we start to see those showers creeping in from the south yet again as we go into Sunday evening. So not a terrible weekend, but not a perfect weekend either. And looking at your forecast rainfall, this is for today, and then also including Friday, the isolated shower chance. And then when it's really ramping up there, because you saw the numbers really bump up, this is now going to be your Saturday rainfall. And this is where we could see that 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rain over the next couple of days, as if we haven't seen enough rainfall lately. And then we've got more chances for probably soaking rainfall coming Monday into Tuesday. Just a quick look at your pollen count. Oak and hickory, those are your tree pollens. It's kind of moderate today, at least until we get the rain and storms developing later on. Should be lower there for Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday just staying in that moderate category. So we're finally over the hurdle as far as the worst of it. We'll have a few extreme days down the road, but that's about it. And watching that low out there in the Gulf, it's actually off the coast of Texas and Louisiana there, but it's eventually going to start tracking northeastward as we go into the weekend, and that ramps up our chances for rain and potentially storms. A lot of rainfall right now over portions of the Ohio River Valley, up there into Kentucky, portions of Ohio itself, Indiana, Illinois, even into parts of Missouri too. So for tonight, we're expecting those scattered stronger storms, heavy rain, gusty winds, and potential for hail as well as lightning too. 9-10 o'clock, strong severe storm threat wraps up, And then we just have some lingering showers, potentially some thunder overnight into tomorrow morning. Here's your Friday. I mentioned the cloud cover. Temperatures a bit cooler, a little bit of a breeze there out of the north and east, but we should be dry for almost the entire day on Friday, so excellent news there. But now we go to your 7-10-day forecast. Still watching your weekend here. Might have to increase that chance for rain on Saturday. We still have time with the models. It's only Thursday morning, so we'll really fine-tune that weekend forecast. It's not only the weekend, it's Mother's Day weekend. Then by Sunday, looking at evening showers there. It's Monday and Tuesday of next week. I think we'll still be dealing with that center of low pressure that's going to bring the rain over the weekend. It's just going to kind of park over the area, and that means more chances for scattered showers and storms as we go through Monday, potentially into Tuesday. And these could be very efficient rainfall makers with the amount of moisture we have, so we'll be watching the threat for any additional flooding. And then our temperatures shoot right back up, well above average. At the end of your 10-day forecast, we'll be there in the mid-80s. So stay weather aware as you go through the afternoon and evening. We're tracking that threat for strong to maybe severe storms. If you think a year ago, this is a tornado anniversary. Unfortunately, those of you that experienced it firsthand, May 8th, we had that EF3 out in the Brigadoon area. We just ran Claudia Peppenhorst's story on that yesterday. So this is a day for many. A year ago, we were dealing with tornadic weather. Not so much of a tornado threat today, but more potential for damaging wind gusts and large hail. And then stay with us. We'll keep you updated on that important weekend forecast. So that's going to wrap up Weather Extra. I'll be on at 11 o'clock for Tennessee Valley Living with Peyton Walker, as always, and then on our noon newscast with Gina Benitez. So more updates on the threat for strong to severe storms this afternoon, as well as updates on that weekend forecast. So thanks for your time on this Thursday. Appreciate you tuning in for Weather Extra. Have a great day, and keep an eye on your 48 weather app for those storms later on today.